What's going on, everybody? LAKERS TV back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to give my thoughts on Stephen A. Smith, who went on record and finally came to his senses. You see what happened when you finally come to your senses and you start thinking with logic and you're not this delusional bronze sexual? You go out and you tell the masses the truth. They crucify you. They look at you like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot because you're pointing these things out. Now, shout out to one of my subscribers. You know, he came and said that he left in the comment box. He said, man, I think Stephen A. Smith watch your videos. And I wouldn't be surprised by that. I mean, that wouldn't be nothing that's out of the, the ordinary or anything that, of course, a lot of these so-called sports analysts, journalists, TV personalities, they often watch a lot of, other people content, and it could help him, write his whole script or, whatever he's going to say on television, right? But y'all see the jersey. Y'all already know how I'm coming. Y'all already know. The LeBron James jersey. Get you a LeBron James jersey. Get you a LeBron James jersey. Uh-huh. Stephen A. Smith finally said something of substance, that the Lakers should trade LeBron James. Who said that? I said that multiple times. Y'all done heard me say that multiple times before everybody started to say it. I've been saying it. The Lakers should trade LeBron James. Cleveland seemed like buyers. The Cleveland Cavaliers seem like buyers. They got a crop of young talent. I've been saying that in multiple videos. Now, despite the Laker organization, the PR team, LeBron James team, pushing down my videos in the algorithms to make sure they don't gain traction. But the people going to see the videos, no matter how much I try to hide it. But as I mentioned, the Lakers should trade LeBron James, and then you had, they bring up J.J. Redick, and they try to, and this is why people like J.J. Redick, they have like a sheep mentality. They have a group thinking mentality. So it's going to take for a few others of people who have, popularity, somebody who's bigger than Stephen A. Smith, to come out and say that they need to trade LeBron James. And once you got the Shaquille O'Neals of the world, because they have popularity, people have a group thinking mentality. So they're going to wait for others to say it first. They're going to say that LeBron James, the Lakers should consider trading LeBron James. And then once they say it, then they going to hop on the train and then they going to repeat it. That's the group thinking mentality. But I've been saying that for months now. The Lakers need to trade LeBron James. He's led the league in shot attempts. He's taken all the shot attempts. He's on the sideline reading the stats. He's laughing, joking, and playing while his team is getting blown out. They losing. He's faking injuries. Everybody, oh, well, the Lakers are going to be you're going to be trash for years to come, and you're going to be back at the bottom. We're at the bottom now with him. You could blame Rob Pelinka. You could blame Jeannie Buss. You could blame Frank Vogel. LeBron James is a LeBron James system. And as long as they play in the LeBron James system, they're never going to get anywhere. The offense is too stagnant. There's no flow within the offense. There's no ball movement. LeBron James not great at playing off the ball. I done ran a list of all the talent that he's had. Montrezl Harrell, former player of the year. Brandon Ingram is playing phenomenal. Just led his team to the playoffs. He at least got to the play, and LeBron James couldn't even lead his team to a play-in tournament. Now, of course, Stephen A. Smith had to put out a disclaimer and say, oh, well, LeBron James, don't get me wrong. LeBron James is averaging 30 points per game. And LeBron James is by far box office appeal. He has to put out that disclaimer because he knows that the bronze sexuals are going to get in the comment box, right? And say, Oh, the playoffs is going on. But hey, let's talk about LeBron James. That's all they want to do is talk about LeBron James with the playoffs going on. And this is their way of trying to shame you and make you feel, use these shaming tactics. Make you feel wrong about talking about what you're talking about, because any other time, as long as you're going up there and praising LeBron James, if they would have decided, hey, the playoffs is going on, we're going to praise LeBron James, they wouldn't have had a word to say. The Bronsexuals, they wouldn't have had a word to say. But now they're getting upset because people are starting to wake up and see LeBron James for who he is, which is overrated. Now, you don't see them Bronsexuals. Now, just a few weeks ago, when Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and the Nets got swept by the Boston Celtics, they didn't mind talking about LeBron James. They didn't mind bringing up LeBron and how LeBron James so-called defeated the young Celtics team by himself. But they failed to mention that didn't LeBron James get swept that year? Y'all talking about him sweeping the Celtics, but didn't Kevin Durant sweep him? So what are we talking about here? He defeated that Celtics team by himself, and y'all praise him for defeating it by himself. He ain't had no help. But he couldn't defeat that Warriors team by himself? Come on, man. Y'all about to get me to preaching in here, man. You hear me? So, like I said, they're fine as long as LeBron James on Twitter talking about how, oh, I got to make the playoffs next year. There's no way I could not be without being in the... He's trying to do everything he can to stay relevant. Ain't none of his fans going on his page and saying, oh, LeBron, you need to shut up because you're not in the playoffs, so you ain't got no room to talk. Stop trying to take the attention from off of you, because we all know that, I mean, it's been reported that LeBron James got the #1 jersey, the #1 in jersey sales. He's still one of the most popular athletes, if not, he led the All-Star votes. He led in All-Star votes. So he's still one of the most popular players. So that means he's going to get all the attention. So why nobody saying, LeBron James, ain't nobody talking about you? Why you laughing on Twitter when Patrick Beverley is celebrating? He got something to celebrate about. You celebrating on the sideline of your team losing. So I'm not getting it. So they try to make it seem like Stephen A. Smith said something that was wrong. He didn't. The Lakers, I didn't even think they should consider trading LeBron James. They should trade LeBron James. I mean, it makes the most sense. You got a guy who's about to be 38 next year. He's been injured. You know, he's been getting injured the last few seasons. He hasn't made the play-in tournament. Anthony Davis stays injured. They got the little bubble title that none of the players around the league respect. Every time he's not making anybody better. He's had all this great talent, and they're still saying it's not enough. Russell Westbrook has been to the playoffs with Kevin Durant, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, all these slew of players. Even without them, he made it to the playoffs. But when he get with LeBron James, he all of a sudden don't know how to play basketball no more. He can't make a shot. But I've been telling y'all, man, the Lakers, what I think is going to happen, and that's why LeBron James hasn't signed that extension. He's ready to run and quit. He's ready to quit. He's ready to quit. And the Laker organization need to stand 10 toes. And I told y'all when I said that Phil Jackson, Jeannie Buss, is playing chess. Phil Jackson, who LeBron James despises, don't like, because he said, oh, he's with his posse. It seems like to me LeBron James is the racist one. But I don't see nothing. He said that Cleveland Cavaliers, which let me know he watched my videos, because the Cleveland Cavaliers at the top of the list. And y'all, you know, faithfully heard me say that the Lakers should trade LeBron James to Cleveland because they have the better assets. He wants to go back. He wants to play with his son. It's common sense. He wants to play with his son. Right? He wants to play with his son. He was born in the city of, pretty much basically born in Cleveland, but Akron, so what, whatever. And then his son born there too, so why not go there and pay up there? They got a lot of young assets. Just take your pick. He don't have no trade clause. It all makes sense. It's all lining up perfectly. They're setting the stage for him to be traded. Genie Bus, get him, use him for all the money that you can get out of him, and then go. It's because of him we losing. So I agree with Stephen A. Smith, or Stephen A. Smith agree with me because I know you watch my videos. And the rest of them, all of them that sitting up on that panel, they just delusional. And the fans in the comments, they LeBron James fans. As long as you talking positive and saying the right things about LeBron, they gonna love you. Stephen A. Smith, yeah, that's the best take I've ever heard in my life, yeah. Then you got the clone fake version of Skip Bayless over there probably disagreeing. What's his name, Mad Dog? JJ Redick, he just saying whatever the fans want him to say. Come on, bro. Like, we got to make this make sense, man. Like, LeBron James is overrated. And I'm cool with going back at the bottom. We won more games under Luke Walton than with LeBron James. They just put that out there. Come on, bro. Russell Westbrook led the team in pretty much every statistical category. He wasn't as bad as they making it seem. But it's the LeBron James fans, they needed to use him as a scapegoat. LeBron knew what he was doing. It's time for bro to go. You won a championship, and the reason that the Bronsexuals don't want for the Lakers to trade LeBron James is because how dare you? Could you imagine if the Bulls traded Michael Jordan? They think that he's in the same conversation with Michael Jordan. He's not. They know that these greats never been traded before. A lot of them. I'm not going to say none of them, but a lot of them haven't been traded before. So it'd be like, how dare you trade LeBron James? The Lakers playing it smart. Why would I trade my first round pick and for 2027? You want to get John? Were you mad because we didn't get you John Wall? John Wall is just like Russell Westbrook. Then they talk about something. They want to blame Rob Pelinka for DeMar DeRozan. It's LeBron James' fault. I showed y'all an article where it says that the Lakers, they pulled back on going after DeMar DeRozan once they seen that LeBron James and Anthony Davis were adamant about going out and making sure that Russell Westbrook ends up on the Lakers. I showed y'all reports of credible sources and people that's really close to the organization and really close. So I don't want to hear no more, oh, he didn't go after DeMar DeRozan or the Lakers didn't go after DeMar DeRozan. No. No matter how you try to change the narrative, LeBron James is at fault. He's the reason the Lakers are where they at. Make sure you get you a LeBron James jersey. We'll respect you here, man. It's time to go. You and your fans, it's time to go. Hit the road, Jack. It's time to go. Let the dough hit you. Kick them right out the dough. It's time to go. And I'll probably burn this jersey. I'm either going to bury it or I'm going to burn it when you're gone. Because we don't respect you. We never respected you. You never. Come on, man. Talking about something. You want to do a joint parade. Come on, bruh. In the Super Bowl, dancing and enjoying yourself and your team is at the bottom, losing, flexing and everything. Come on, man. You ain't never been a real Laker. Stephon Marbury saying it best. He wasn't no real Laker. It's time for him to go. It's time for bro to go. So Stephen A. Smith, you're right. And now you starting to see what it's like when you start speaking the truth. They don't like you. Talking about something. All you do is, they still talking about, they finding some way to talk about LeBron James during the playoffs. But y'all cool with Nick Wright and all these other people talking about LeBron James during the playoffs. It's cool when they talk about him, but as long as somebody says something against him, it's a problem. I'm out.